Good morning everybody. Welcome to my channel Medico's Study Point. Guys, today we will be discussing about a very important topic under NSAIDs, that is aspirin. So first of all, we will discuss everything about aspirin, like mechanism of action, its pharmacological actions, its dosage regimen, and at the last we will also discuss about the adverse effects of aspirin. So please guys, watch the video lecture till the end. Now we'll start our lecture. What is aspirin basically? It is a prototype drug under NSAIDs. NSAIDs means non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So in classification of NSAIDs, where does aspirin came? So basically it comes under non-selective COX inhibitors. COX means cyclooxygenase. It is an enzyme. So under non-selective COX inhibitors, there is a subgroup named salicylates. So aspirin comes under salicylates. Now we will discuss about mechanism of action. So first of all, after discussing the mechanism of action, we'll see about the COX enzyme, that is cyclooxygenase enzyme. So basically it is the enzyme which is responsible for biosynthesis of various prostaglandins. So there are two types of cyclooxygenase enzymes, that is COX-1 and 2. Now COX-1, it is a constitutive enzyme and is found in most of the tissues such as blood vessels, stomach and kidney. COX-2, it is induced during inflammation by cytokines and endotoxins, and it is responsible for production of prostanoid mediators of inflammation. So guys, basically which enzyme is responsible for inflammation? That is COX-2. So now if we have to give anti-inflammatory drug, then where it has to be act, the drug must have to be inhibit the COX-2 enzyme. So now what is the mechanism through which aspirin and most of the other NSAIDs work? So basically they inhibit both COX-1 and COX-2. So if they are inhibiting COX-1 and COX-2, they will decrease the synthesis of prostaglandin and thromboxane 2. And so the anti-inflammatory action is seen, and mainly due to the inhibition of COX-2. As I have previously told you that anti-inflammatory inhibition is basically seen or mainly seen due to inhibition of COX-2. Now aspirin, what does basically aspirin do? Aspirin, it causes irreversible inhibition of COX activity. Now we'll see about pharmacological actions of aspirin. Number one, first point, we'll discuss about analgesic effect. So guys, what's the meaning of analgesic? Analgesic means pain reliever. So how aspirin is used or how it gives the analgesic effect, we'll see that. So basically aspirin or NSAIDs, they are mainly used for relieving musculoskeletal pain, dysmenorrhea, and pain associated with inflammation or tissue damage. So analgesic effect, why does it cause? It is due to the peripheral inhibition of prostaglandin production. So basically what is responsible for the pain? So basically prostaglandins are responsible for the pain in our body. So what does aspirin do? It inhibits that peripheral prostaglandin production, and it gives us relief in pain. So, and they also increase pain threshold by acting at subcortical side. Second point is the antipyretic effect. Antipyretic means the decrement of the temperature of body. So basically decrement of the fever, or I can say treatment of fever. So when there is a disturbance in hypothalamic thermostat, the NSAIDs, or I can say aspirin, they reset the hypothalamic thermostat and reduce the elevated temperature during fever. Number third point is anti-inflammatory effect. Anti-inflammatory effect, it is seen in high doses of aspirin, that is 4 to 6 gram per day in divided doses. They produce only symptomatic relief. Number fourth point, that is antiplatelet effect, or I can say antithrombotic effect. So aspirin in low doses. In which dose? Low dose, that is 50 to 325 milligram per day. Guys, an anti-inflammatory high dose of aspirin is needed. That is 4 to 6 gram per day. Whereas in anti-inflammatory effect, low doses is used. That is 50 to 325 milligram per day. And they irreversibly inhibit the platelets and thromboxane A2 inhibit synthesis and produce antiplatelet effect for 8 to 10 days because it is inhibiting irreversibly. Number fifth point, that is acid, base and electrolyte balance. So in therapeutic doses of aspirin, salicylates cause respiratory alkalosis, which is compensated by excretion of bicarbonate. Number sixth point is GIT, gastrointestinal tract. What is the pharmacological action in gastrointestinal tract? So aspirin irritates gastric mucosa and produce nausea and vomiting and dyspepsia. It also stimulates chemotrigger zone and produce vomiting. Number 7th point, it is CVS, or what does it cause in CVS and what is the pharmacological action in circulatory venous system. In CVS, prolonged use can cause sodium and water retention. Number 8th point, urate excretion. So salicylates in therapeutic doses inhibit urate secretion into renal tubules, which increase the plasma urate levels. List all the pharmacological actions, or I can say therapeutic uses of aspirin and NSAIDs. Now we will discuss about the dosage regimen of aspirin. So guys, what is the dose which we have to give in different conditions? For example, number first point, we'll see about analgesic dose. For example, if we are giving individual as a painkiller, then at what dose we have to give? So we will be giving 2 to 3 gram per day in that individual. Second, as when we are giving aspirin as anti-inflammatory drug or anti-inflammatory dose, then we have to give it 4 to 6 gram per day. Number third is antiplatelet dose. So for example, if we are giving aspirin as an antiplatelet dose, then we have to give 50 to 325 milligram per dose. Guys, pay attention that in both above conditions like analgesic and anti-inflammatory, we are giving high doses of aspirin, that is 2 to 3 gram per day and 4 to 6 gram per day. And in antiplatelet dose, we are giving a low dose, that is 50 to 325 milligram per day. Guys, now we will see about the adverse effect of aspirin. First of all, we'll see about GIT, that is gastrointestinal. What does it cause in GIT? It causes nausea, vomiting, dyspepsia, ulceration and GI bleeding. Guys, ulceration is very important, so keep it in mind that aspirin causes ulceration and GI bleeding. Second is hypersensitivity reaction. So it is relatively more common with aspirin. In hypersensitivity reaction, for example, in bronchospasm, aspirin induced asthma. It causes bronchospasm and it is due to increased production of leukotrienes. Number third point is hemolytic anemia. So in individuals which are having deficiency of G6PD enzyme, if we are giving aspirin to such individuals, then they may cause hemolytic anemia. Number fourth point is bleeding. So guys, if we are giving a prolonged use of salicylates like aspirin, what they cause? They interfere with the action of vitamin K and it decreases synthesis of clotting factors and it may predispose to bleeding. So for the treatment of such type of bleeding, we give vitamin K. Number fifth is Reese syndrome. So in children, salicylates with viral infection causes, so in children which are taking salicylates, they may cause with viral infection, causes hepatic damage with fatty infiltration and encephalopathy, that is known as Reese syndrome. Number sixth point is pregnancy. Guys, if we are giving aspirin in a pregnant female, then they may inhibit prostaglandin synthesis, thereby they delay onset of labor and it increases chances of postpartum hemorrhage. So guys, these are the maximum of adverse effects which we have discussed here. So basically we have discussed everything else about aspirin which is frequently asked in exams, guys. So if you are new on my channel, guys, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. And guys, please comment there on which other topics you want the videos. I will be uploading that. And guys, if you want some more other videos, I will be giving the link in my description box, so you can go there and check it there. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you.